Bolt Nation, lock in, because what's happening in Los Angeles could completely change the way we look at this team in 2026. This is not just random off-season noise. There are real signals coming out of this organization right now, and when you connect them, it starts to feel like the Chargers are standing at a huge turning point. We're talking about a young defensive star who needs to get paid before the market explodes, a possible offensive line move that could matter way more than people think, an Alvin Kamara scenario that could add pure chaos to this offense, and growing pressure on Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz to finally deliver when the lights get brightest. So if you ride with the Chargers, hit like, subscribe, and get in the comments, because this feels like one of those moments where a few key moves could shape the entire season. Let's start with the biggest one to me, and that's Tui Polo 2. The Chargers cannot mess around with this. They just can't. This is not hype for the sake of hype. This is not a player living off potential. This is real production, real growth, and a player who looks like he is becoming one of the foundational pieces of this defense. The Chargers brought Khalil Mack back on another one-year deal worth $18 million guaranteed, which tells you they still understand how important the pass rush is. But they also lost Odafe Oweh after he broke out for 10.5 sacks with the Chargers, including the playoffs, and cashed in with Washington. And when you step back and look at the whole picture, the team's sack leader was Tuli. 13 sacks in 2025, Pro Bowl selection, still ascending. That changes the conversation fast, because once you lose one major edge threat, and the guy ready to carry even more of the load is only 24 and getting better every season, why would you wait? Tuli went from 4.5 sacks as a rookie to 8.5 in 2024 to 13 in 2025. That is not random. That is development. That is a player turning himself into a serious problem for offenses. And the part that makes this even more important is his reliability. He has missed just one game in 3 seasons. One. In this league, that matters. Talent is huge, but talent plus durability plus youth, that's exactly the kind of player smart teams extend early. And the longer the Chargers wait, the more expensive this gets. That's just reality. His projected value is already pushing close to $18.7 million per year, so why let that number climb even higher if you already know what you have? To me, this is where Joe Ortiz has to act with conviction. Extending Tuli now would not be panic. It would be smart roster building. It would be the Chargers recognizing a premium piece before the price goes nuclear. If this team really believes it is building a defense that can survive January football, then this is one of those moves you make before everybody else catches up. So tell me this right now. Are you paying Tuli immediately, or are you gambling on one more season and risking that number exploding? Now let's flip to the other side of the ball, because if there is one thing Chargers fans are tired of hearing about, it's Justin Herbert getting hit. At some point, that has to stop being a storyline and start becoming a solved problem. That's why even a proposed move like Zack Zinter deserves attention. No, it's not flashy. No, it's not the kind of move that breaks the internet. But football is not always about splash. Sometimes it's about fixing the weak point before it caves in on you. The Chargers already expect a big boost at tackle with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, and they did address the interior with Tyler Biadasz and Cole Strange. But should they still keep looking? Absolutely. And that's where the Zinter idea gets interesting. He played 4 seasons under Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, and that connection matters. Harbaugh knows who this guy is. He knows how he plays, how he practices, what kind of physical football he brings. That kind of familiarity can turn a maybe into a real possibility. Now let's be fair, because we're not here to sell fantasy as fact. Zinter has not proven himself as some locked-in difference maker in Cleveland. He has not done enough to call him a sure thing. This would be a bet, a projection. A move based on fit and belief more than proven NFL production. But that's exactly why it makes sense as a conversation. If Harbaugh and this staff believe they can get more out of him, then the Chargers should absolutely explore it. If the cost is reasonable and the fit is real, why not take that shot? Protecting Herbert is not optional anymore. It is a full-on obligation. And if the Chargers think Zinter can help stabilize the interior, then this is the kind of under-the-radar move that could end up meaning a lot more than people expect. So let me know, would you make a move for Zack Zinter, or do you think the Chargers need somebody more proven? And now let's get to the one that instantly grabs attention, because this is the kind of scenario that makes a fan base stop scrolling and lean in. Alvin Kamara is a name the Chargers should absolutely monitor if the Saints move on from him. That does not mean anything is happening right now. It does not mean a deal is in the works. But if he hits the market, should the Chargers at least think about it? Without question. This is a real discussion. The backfield already looks way different than it did not long ago. Omarion Hampton came in with big-time expectations. Kimani Vidal flashed when he got his opportunities. Keaton Mitchell brings speed and juice that can change the feel of a drive in one snap. That is already an intriguing group for Mike McDaniel to work with. So why bring Kamara into the picture? Because even if he is no longer at his peak, he still offers something rare when healthy and in rhythm. He is a true dual-threat weapon. A back who can hurt you as a runner and in the passing game and force defenses to hesitate. Now yes, the concern is real. His 2025 numbers were rough by his standards. The rushing production dropped hard. That has to be acknowledged. But does that automatically mean he's done? Not necessarily. We have seen talented veterans look flat in one situation and come alive in another. And from the Chargers' perspective, this would not be about handing Kamara the keys. It would be about adding another piece to an offense still trying to become more dangerous and more flexible. If the price is right and the role makes sense, why wouldn't you at least consider it? It could give Herbert another outlet. It could give McDaniel another chess piece. It could make this offense a lot harder to defend. So if Kamara becomes available, are you making that call or are you staying far away? And now we get to the biggest truth of all. Because eventually all the roster talk and all the off-season theories crash into one thing. The Chargers need real results. Not just progress, not just promise, real January results. Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz have led this team to back-to-back 11-win seasons, and that deserves respect. In the AFC West, that is not easy. But this league does not hand out banners for respectable progress. It judges you by what happens in the playoffs. And right now, this regime has not delivered there. And the toughest part is not just that they lost early, it's how they lost. The Chargers scored one total touchdown across those two playoff losses. One. That is brutal. That is a giant red flag. It tells you this team still has not found the right answer when the pressure gets real. It tells you the offense still has major issues in the biggest moments. It tells you Herbert is still being asked to survive too much chaos. And when those same problems keep showing up, eventually the pressure starts rising on everybody in charge. Now, would it still be surprising if Harbaugh or Ortiz were actually out after 2026? Yes, it would. But if this team stacks another strong regular season only to fall flat again in January, and Herbert is still under constant heat while the front office keeps getting labeled too cautious, then that conversation gets very real very fast. The Chargers had major cap space this offseason. They had room to be aggressive. Instead, they stayed controlled, measured, maybe too measured. Their biggest contract was Tyler Biadasz at 3 years, $30 million. And look, discipline matters. Smart teams don't throw money around for no reason. But there is a difference between discipline and hesitation. There is a difference between being calculated and being so careful that you miss your moment. That's why 2026 feels massive. This is not fake drama. This is the real pressure surrounding this team. There is still talent here. There is still upside. The defense has pieces. The offense has intriguing weapons. Herbert is still good enough to elevate everything around him. There is a path to a breakthrough. But none of it matters if the Chargers can't finally turn all of that promise into proof when the postseason arrives. So that's the full picture, Bolt Nation. Pay Thule before the market blows up. Keep looking for answers in front of Herbert. Stay alert for opportunities that could make this offense more explosive. And understand that for Harbaugh and Ortiz, the clock may not be blaring yet, but you can absolutely hear it ticking. This team has talent, it has urgency, it has expectations, and maybe, just maybe, it has a real chance to break through if the next moves are the right ones. But now it has to happen on the field, not just on paper. So get in the comments right now and tell me which storyline matters most, which move changes the Chargers' future the most, and whether you believe this team is finally ready to win when it counts. Like the video, share it with another Chargers fan, and subscribe for more Chargers coverage, because everything that moves in Los Angeles matters now, and this season feels like it could change everything.